Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Robot Wizard podcast. I'm Brink. Say
Myth.
hello, Myth.
Hello, Myth.
And we've got a couple new topics to cover. Darth Malak, the Darth Malak event just expired last night, so we've got a new meta team to try and dissect, optimize, and counter. And we've got a couple other topics to catch up on as well.
So we had done a show last week, and we had some technical difficulties, and it was some stuff we wanted to counter. So we figured we'd start with just a couple things from that show, which it's been a week and everything moves fast. Some of it's a little outdated, but some of it's really cool, and it lays the foundation for how to approach trying to kill a Malak if you don't have him, regardless of whether we've actually tried it versus that or not. We're gonna do some of that stuff today and see if it works, but. The Malak is, people were wondering if he really added a lot to the team. And at first I wasn't sure. Once we started seeing how he was working, he really does. But let's start out with the Admiral Akbar counter that you were talking about last week, buddy.
Yeah. So who was it? Trademarked. Trademarked, who sits on our Discord server. Really led the way in experimenting using Akbar lead to take on the Darth Revan teams, and now this is pre-Darth Malak, so keep that in mind. But basically, he's been leveraging the Akbar plus 25 speed boost for his CLS rebels to get out ahead of Darth Revan teams and put them away before they can do damage to his team. And I wanted to show a couple videos of it in action. I've got some footage of some wins and some losses. You know, it's not a 100% guaranteed win, but if you understand how the team works and the kind of the speed comparison and how you can scout the other team, it's a pretty fun team to run, especially if you can show off Akbar lead at the top of your arena. So let me pull up one of these videos here.
Now, back in the day, the Akbar lead, it was part of the meta for a second, and it was never the best team. It was sort of easy to beat on offense, but man, they went so fast, and it was just so cool. There were a lot of really great mechanics going on, adding turn meter from different ways, and if you got behind it, there was a chance you could lose because it's just one of the fastest setups you could have. And a lot of times when we have a new meta, we look for kind of old leads to see if they'll work because we're comfortable with them and we know how they work. So, every time I try to pop Rex in and see if it works because that lead is just always viable. But I think this is one of them where we should always keep it in mind. It helps you go first. It helps you get out in front. And it uses Commander Luke Skywalker. It uses Chewie. It could use Han because it's Rebels. I mean, it's what's better than that?
Yeah, so I've got it paused here. In the opening, Bastila's got a little. She's got a fair amount of tenacity, so there's a bit of RNG involved in who you want to pick to stun first. So if you use Han's shoot first on Bastila, you have a pretty good chance that you'll get a resist or two, which will give you even more turn meter and make sure that you can get out in front of her. If you don't get any resists and you're going against a very fast Fallen Bastila, then the battle can be a little bit of trouble. But in the opening of this footage that you're watching right here, she resisted a couple exposes, and then CLS landed his debuffs on Sith Trooper and charged everybody's turn meter up. So you're going to see that the team is then able to plug Bastila right out of the battle, and then you're on to probably, which one is this? Okay, so HK-47 is going to be the next person to leave the battle.
I just love the way Chewie drops people. Besides the assist and the healing, it's his second special that stuns them. It's like a 50,000 hit if you mod him right. It just
oh my gosh,
it's just such a great kill shot. And I was actually having a debate with Pickle about whether the Rebels can take out a Night Sister with Nest Team, and I was reminding him that if modded correctly, Chewie can knock him out. I mean, so you just have to make sure that you have everything set up right and you line your shot up. You can get trapped in the turn meter loop, but you can, if you get on him early, you can knock Nest out. Chewie's such a great tune.
Yeah, so here's another battle against Prisma, who's in our shard. And this is my video. I did win this one, but I wanted to kind of go over, I highlight the mods here just to show a different team composition.
We never show, I mean, we don't ever lose. So when you see the videos, even though you see us winning all the time, we never lose ever. So you can always assume that.
For yourself.
And when if we do happen to lose a match, for some reason, the videos just don't save. You just you press the delete happens, or it's a weird thing, but you know, the computer or the recorder just doesn't like losses.
Yeah, so here, you know, here's another example. Like, Bastila is out of the battle. If you can get her out of the battle, it's very, I mean, it's almost an automatic win with the CLS rebels because they have so much damage.
And the corrupted battle meditation, it's just, I don't think enough love is going to her because Revan is at the forefront of this. But that debuff not being dispellable, I mean, that rework, it's just, you know,
it's as powerful as Fracture. Do you remember when Fracture came out? This is as powerful as that.
It is, and it's almost for like a whole team. And I mean, it's for a whole team. And, you know, it was a quick rework, but it was still a rework. It might be the best rework that's ever been done in this game. And up there is with the Night Sisters, and especially what they did with Zombie. But I mean, I don't know if it could get better than that. And it adds so many cool nuances to the game. It adds so many, you know, different strategies where I think the more tools we have to approach killing metas, whether it's today, yesterday, or tomorrow, the more diversity of mechanics, the better this game gets and the more interesting theory crafting gets.
So here's one that I lose, and I'm thinking that this is against Vir, because V runs the CLS L3 team.
Yes.
And I was able to beat him, but I think that this one shows how, you know, if RNG doesn't go your way. So see there, I think there might have just been one resist. So you don't get the turn meter boost, and Vir has some good speed, and he has good mods.
He's got great mods. He's also an incredibly intelligent player who looks deeply into things and creates challenges for you that you might not get with other teams.
So here, I've got good speed on my team. You know, there's a gamble with trying to stun Bastila because, you know, if she doesn't give you the resist to feed your turn meter, she turns the Sith Empire tunes gain speed for every debuff on them. So she gets out in front of my team and AoE fears me pretty much.
It's a clever mechanic to, you know, turn something that used to be an asset against you. So I mean, when I'm playing these teams, regardless of what setup or who I'm using, I have to think very carefully about their kits, and not because they're complicated, but because they're powerful. They're subtle, and there's a lot going on there. It's not like they're run-on sentences like the Jedi Knight Revan kit, or, you know, like the Holy Bible, but there's just a lot going on, and if you don't understand it, you really have to think through the battles.
Yeah, so here I paused it because I was able to get Bastila out of this battle, but you can kind of see I'm not in good shape because Chewie has shock, so he's not going to gain turn meter. Same with C-3PO. Akbar doesn't matter. But I'm going against Darth Revan, HK-47, which are a lot of damage, and then L3 and CLS are very, very tanky.
So many of the current metas are relying on turn meter and turn meter gain. You know, DR doesn't, because the buffs give turn meter, not turn meter boost. But this is almost the meta of shock. You know, an AoE shock, you know, we've never had that kind of thing in the game. And now we have like a couple methods of putting more than one on a tune. And it's, it goes without saying that it's one of the most powerful shutdowns that you can get, because turn meter drives the game, speed drives the game.
Yeah, and, you know, shock's been in the game forever, and it prevents turn meter gain. But Palpatine was the only good tune that had it. and it was on his basic, not his AoE. So with now with Bastila having shock, Revan has an AoE shock, Malak has some shock in his kit. There's you can't rely on those 5% turn meter gains from CLS lead anymore.
We were discussing this. I don't remember who I was talking to. Maybe it was V. How shock shuts down Malak. We're going to get into that later, but that one of the problems with Malak is that if you get shock on him, all of his mechanics shut down, and we're thinking that in the rework, that's one of the things they're going to tackle, some sort of self-cleanse for all debuffs except for ferocity and whatever the one he has, which I haven't gone into his kit, but it's that powerful, and it works against them as well. Mirror.
Let's actually get into Malak counters, because in our shard we have a few Malaks already, and some of the folks have been able to get him geared up to gear 10 or gear 11, so he's now workable in our shard for us to start testing against. We don't have any 7 stars, sorry guys, but I should also say that I was able to get Malak myself last night at almost the last minute. I got a lucky drop with some Zetas and was able to get T3's GP level up to the minimum, and was able to play that event and get him unlocked. So
and I think I was in the chat room yesterday, but you were in the Robot Wizard. That's our server.
Oh my gosh!
Brink and I co-founded it, but he went in there and they basically laid out a how-to for him, in 10 minutes. If you guys want to join, it's a great place. A lot of terrific players, great minds. We have a lot of fun. No one's too serious.
It was amazing. I was able to beat the dark side event with what I thought was a slightly undergeared team, because my Darth Revan was gear 10 or 11 at the time. So he was actually not quite I had some survivability issues with him, but then the light side battle was the one that everybody was complaining about on the internet, saying that it's the hardest event that they've played, and I kind of agree with them. It wasn't. So I got it on my 5th try, and the 4 tries before were short. I was getting a feel for the battle, and then reading on Discord all the guys from the Robot Wizard telling me what they did and how the mechanics work, and I was able to within an hour get them unlocked with T3, who was sitting there doing absolutely nothing for me. It was actually really cool to have the guys give me a breakdown of okay, here's what you need to do, hit the droids, put armor shred, save, let him take this pod. You can also do this pod, but then that means you have to have these conditions set. And then, of course, Sinisvada's advice of going heavy on offense for your Jedi was a great advice.
And we would cover an event like that, but I figure it this way. There's people who are going to get and people who aren't. And there's a lot of people out there who cover how to beat these events. But what we want to talk about is less the specifics, although they helped you, and it's great. And if somebody really does need some sort of solid help or counter for an event, we'll be right there. But what this means, because I wasn't able to try the light side part of the event. I was 2 tunes short. I did manage to do the dark side, and I'm on the outside looking in, even though I spent 3 months, busting it to get DR. But it's good because we have different perspectives we could show about, what works here. And when I got DR, my heart wasn't really into finding the counters the way it normally will. But I dove right into the anti-Malak stuff because I have to be able to climb, and I'm not going to, I don't want to lose crystals, but also I want to make sure that all the people that we work with and love and play with are going to be able to have that opportunity as well. And so we set out to do that. So the first thing I wanted to see is if the ZZEP lead could still work, because I use that in GA and we use that in TW so that we can put DR on defense. And, lo and behold, it does still work. It isn't as easy. You really need to sit down and mod them well. You want to, mod Treyer for survivability and Scion as well, with decent speed on Scion at least. And you want to mod Nihilus for health, because he gains bonus. He stacks health as the battle goes on, and it gives him enough survivability to at least get off his first annihilate and take Darth Revan out. Now, even at that point, if you lose in GA or in TW, the team is beatable once Darth Revan is out. So that's a victory in and of itself. And most of the time when I played this, I was able to go through and, and beat the rest of them. So we're going to pull up the ZZP Malak counter.
Yeah, so we've got the ZP and Sith Triumvirate.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
So just pause it right there for a second. I don't have a taunter here. So this is a battle without it. And I've worked on it more since then. This was one of my first ones. I tried a bunch of tunes in the Hermit Yoda spot, Thrawn, and just about every one of them, they don't do much. They get killed. So later on, I started playing around just having any pre-taunter in there. And I settled on Baze because I don't have him in any current lineup now. But what you can see is, all right, they go first. They put Fiora on your whole team, and you're in a bad position. But it's not going to last like this forever because you get so much turn meter in the Emperor Palpatine lead. So let it go in here, and I'm going to see what happens. So the Emperor always dies. Traya has great survivability on her own, and especially under this lead. If you don't have corrupted battle meditation, you can actually isolate somebody. It happened a lot. And then Nihilus does his first drain force. So now, we're in a good spot. We can control that. Yeah. You see,
that was a big hit.
That's what it is. You see, look what just happened there. So,
oh my gosh, I got to pause that. Yeah.
Traya stacks damage from, I believe, when all the Sith try get debuffs. So, they're going to get a lot because they're getting hammered in the beginning. And that's feeding turn meter, but it also charges her up, and you can get a nice kill shot. Now, Malak is a pretty strong tune. At 7 stars, he wouldn't have died there. This was some of my early attempts. You'd probably be better off killing HK-47 with that because it's going to be a death, and at least you're getting somebody out. But it's definitely something to look at. There's a strategy here. It's going to work. She's going to get a big shot, and Nihilus is going to be able to annihilate. And even if you lose the battle, even if you lost at this point, you could use troopers, Imperial troopers, to take them down. It's not as daunting as it was before.
You're talking about cleaning up in territory wars in the Galactic Grand Arena.
I know everybody wants to have a one-shot, and that's fine. But it's better to get a 2-shot and not have to mirror this so that you can put DR on defense than get a 1-shot and have to reserve Darth Revan for offense. You want to put your best squads on defense. They're the ones that people are going to have problems with. So in TW and GA is what I think about a lot because the competitive aspect of Arena isn't as great as it used to be. But
so I can vouch for that 2-shot. The first round in this Grand Arena, I went against somebody who had already unlocked Malak and put Revan and Malak on defense. And in my very brief testing, the way I had my mods set up in our current arena against Malak, I didn't have good quality mods on the Triumvirate, so I was not able to win. So I just crossed my fingers and did the best I could. I was able to take out two of the tunes and then 2-shot the team without much issue. I think that with better mods or maybe more testing and more practice, that could change, but I'm right there with you. It's better to be able to have a clear and you can at least be competitive.
So I thought maybe we could do a little live play here, and that's one of the cool things we bring, that we show videos, but we have the option to live play or live play each other because we're in the same shard. And as we're getting more comfortable with the technology here, I think it would be a fun thing to explore. Now, I know I said I don't lose before because all the videos are always of me winning, but in reality, I can lose, and the live play is a little different. The pressure's on, but I'd love to take a shot with what I've been trying next, which is using Baze as a pre-taunter to show the benefits of having a pre-taunter. In the end, I think whatever team setup you do here, because that 5th slot really is irrelevant, stopping them from putting fear on your entire team is crucial. I think it's going to lead to a lot more wins. I did win that last battle, but I played some more without it, and it was harder. This makes it much easier, much closer to a hard counter, and it's a lot easier if you're not dealing with everybody's cooldowns being reduced right away. So let's do our Sith. Now notice I'm not remodding them for this. They're just modded. They have good mods, but it's part of my whole mod scheme. So this doesn't take the best mods that you have. It just takes some sort of understanding and conception about how you want them to be modded, and and then following through on that and then keeping them there. I have a lot of great defensive mods. I spent a lot of time on that. I spent a lot of time 6-dotting health mods because I think they're a great advantage. And we know that when we go into GA and TW, we don't have to spend a lot of time remodding our tool. Who wants to do that? It's a pain. And
you are so ridiculous using bays with these guys.
I don't. You say ridiculous. I say you got to use him for something. He's just sitting on the roster.
He's a good tank, and he's not being used lately.
I need somebody for one turn to get blasted, but have a taunt. And so he's the perfect tune right now. Why use somebody else who I could use in another comp? So
it's smart.
So obviously they get out to the lead, but they can't put fear on everybody else. Now look, this is the first turn. Look, 3 people have debuffs. I don't have to wait to my second turn. You got
foresight.
There is a foresight up there, and I didn't know that. It's not usually up there, and he happens to have that stupid Zeta, so we will go and just clear the taunt here.
I agree with that.
If they don't, though, which a lot of people don't have that Zeta, then you could just go ahead and drain force right away, and you're picking up more speed as you go.
Yeah, if I use drain force when there's those 2 foresights up, the match usually goes bad for me.
Yeah, you definitely want to wait. Now she has corrupted battle meditation, but she could still lower the cooldowns of Nihilus. She could still give Nihilus protection up. And listen, if you can get some shots off, so much the better. EP's not going to be able to inflict a debuff here, but I could take some damage down. Your first targets, from just a killing with damage standpoint, is always HK47. He's the weakest. But you're going to see EP gets trash. Now,
he's got shock. He's not going to gain turn meter.
Now, the shock works the same on my team as long as Trey is dead. When Trey is alive, they will take a turn and they will cleanse themselves. So you really just need to, at this point, get to annihilate. And
come on, Nihilus. Oh, he's got fear. He's going to miss his turn.
Well, look how much damage they're taking, and they're still holding up. And we made it. So now we need one more turn to get to it. And usually at this point, I have drained force once. Darth's team is really good, and it looks like I'm probably going to get a loss here.
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I just couldn't get to it fast enough. Listen, that foresight changes it. Maybe that's a good reason to put that foresight out, because it's going to change the ability to do that.
Okay, so I noticed that I was losing those matches in kind of the same way when I was running my average mods. I wanted to have my whole inventory set up so I could just pop teams in without changing mods so that I could climb easily. And then, that I've had diminishing returns with the pedestrian mods on the triumvirate. So I just want to see how you've got especially Nihilus and Scion, because when I put some good quality mods on them, it really changed the complexion of the battle.
I'm very surprised, and it really is that foresight that's stopping it. So you can go ahead and look to see if that Zeta's on somebody, but delaying drain force that long, it just kind of made that impossible.
Yeah.
You also, using Thrawn in the alt spot, even though you're going to get fear on you, so that he could swap to Nihilus and make sure he gets it off at some point might work. But this is new to me because I've been using this, in a bunch of trials, and I guess I just never picked one with that Zeta because there aren't so many. And this is the process. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and a lot of times we have to go back to the drawing board.
Let me go over to mine. So we're looking at me. Oh man, I took those mods off. But so I think that you have around the same speed that I had on them. like above 220.
Mhm.
Although, maybe we just need to up that because there were a couple times in that match where you could see his turn meter was almost there. He was almost ready to take a turn, and then he gets hit, and he has stagger on him, and it just takes that turn away. So you've got both shock, fear, and stagger screwing with your
You know what I'm
ability to take a
thinking?
turn.
We need some sort of solution with tenacity up, and I hate to say it, but I think
Rex.
Rex lead and with a
Oh, you're missing a
pre-taunter,
mod.
if you get tenacity up and you can get some control of the battle. We used to use Nihilus with Rex lead all the time. He worked great, and that might be a good solution to this. But it's back to the drawing board.
You're missing a mod on Scion. Do you have one that you usually put on him?
I think that one that's on Darth Revan was on him, but I don't think that would have affected that battle though. It's
19 more. I think it would be worth trying. I wouldn't give up
you
on
could go ahead
the
and
EP
pop it on.
triumvirate yet.
But I'm not going to give up on it. It's just we're gonna need more more testing. But this is the process. We're not just we started this channel. We're doing this podcast because we're not. What we enjoy about this game is this process. Brink and I had a conversation about killing Jedi Knight Revan that lasted for weeks. And at one point, we're like, well, let's let other people in on that conversation. And I don't know if that's for everybody. Some people don't look at the game the same way. They don't like Arena as much. They're collectors, and I think that's a cool thing. But this stuff is so interesting to me. It's like a giant puzzle that we always have to figure out. And if you want to pop that back on and try one more time, sure. That's fine by me. But we're gonna have to get back to the drawing board one way or another.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna go with we're taking the mod off of Revan.
You
Darth
can take it
Revan.
off. Yeah, it's no problem.
That's a nice plus 19
Oh,
is nice.
it's wonderful. I love that mod. It's one of my favorites.
240. Okay.
I love defense mods.
Okay, you're still on cooldown here. Let me tab over to me, and let me just show you kind of what I'm dealing with right now because I still have my Gear 11 Darth Revan, and I'm not quite willing to. I don't have a single team that I can use because I'm kind of vulnerable. My best offensive team is Darth Revan with CLS because I have CLS maxed and I can get his speed up to around 313, and I can get out in front of almost all the Darth Revan teams in our shard due to the CLS. It binds all things. But every once in a while I have a problem with Revan teams, and I typically just use Thrawn because either he'll get marked and die, or if he is alive, I can fracture Grandmaster Yoda and usually get out ahead. But right here, when Bastila gets marked, that's usually a problem for me. Okay, so I'm going to go Insanity to the leader, get fear everywhere. Let's fracture this guy.
What's better than just fracturing Yoda so he cannot do anything except sit there and be green? He's basically at this point he's basically Kermit the Frog.
Yeah. So one thing you might not like that I'm doing right now is I've put an offense set and an offense triangle on HK47. I think that I've been trying to see if increasing the damage on his AoE helps you get out in front of the match a little bit better. And also I have this banging plus 20 speed offense triangle, so it's not the worst thing in the world if I take the crit damage off of him. So this has gone well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like there's any issue there, especially once you fractured Yoda is pretty much over. There's just really no way they can kill you.
Yeah, and
so you've been having some issues with a Gear 11 Revan?
Yeah, it's not automatic. Even when things go right in the battle, I just can't put my best speed mods on them, and there's I'm missing out on that those Gear 12 plus speed bonuses.
So my cooldown's reduced.
Okay,
Although let's see if we
over
can
to
go
you.
over there. Yeah.
Okay, take her away.
Right. We're using the height of technology here, people. 2 people using 1 computer. Boom. All right, I gotta get.
Tell them how we do it.
It's
This is all post production.
Yes, all right. It's magic. All right, let's try this one more time, but I am not that confident, not nearly as much as I was when we first came into this. Now, again, I'm not using Darth Revan in this because I'm trying to work out a GA.
I don't like using Darth Revan in this team because that takes like one of the best teams out of it.
Yeah,
out of your
for me,
inventory.
it's just trying to maximize what you're doing for TW and DA. So using a mirror match. Listen, if you have to do it, if the end result of this is there isn't another good counter, that's what I'm going to have to do. But you know what? You might be right because he took some of the so I'm going to do isolate this time, even though it's not going to work, because I really do want to reduce his cooldowns and get some more protection on him. And there's shock again, although Cyan.
Stagger.
All right, let's look. Cyan's going again.
He's going to give everybody pain, hopefully. Oh, no, that AoE.
Ass handed.
Brutal.
I think he's going to. Wow, this team is really good. Look, he's just doing it over and over and over again. It's not even inflicting on them.
I lost to Darth twice yesterday.
I think we can see why now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get a Drain Force off. I might be better off just doing the Drain Force through the Foresight and see if I can get anything done there, but I'm not sure that's going to really be the answer. So this is probably going to kill HK. Ooh. Yeah. So those nasty hits are part of it, but I can't get. Maybe if I make Nihilus a little faster, but then we're going into the territory.
You're not done yet. You're not done yet.
Best mods. I mean, I still haven't gotten Drain Force off. I feel like I'm pretty much done.
Oh,
Malak hits so hard.
You might.
Good too.
Yeah. That's gonna be it.
Yeah. All right.
You're still alive.
Although I don't know if I'd want to. If I would want to rely on this in GA, it might give me a heart attack. But then once Nihilus starts really recovering all that health, it does be all right. So here you go. This is what we were hoping would happen a lot sooner. And at this point, you can 2-shot this match. And this is basically the theory behind this.
Yeah, for sure.
Next, you want to kill Bastila with Annihilate as fast as you can because she puts the Corrupted Battle Meditation and she puts Ability Block on Nihilus. And once Trey is done, he doesn't cleanse himself and it just doesn't work. He gets killed.
Ooh, wow, that was nasty.
Do you know
you forget about that pseudo annihilate?
That must have been like 300,000 hit. He had to have at least that much. Oh my god! So I mean, at that point, you could 2-shot them. This definitely needs some work. We're gonna get back into the lab and work on that. But you can see the makings of how to approach it. All this team needs is to get Drain Force off faster. It just took too long against somebody who has that foresight and. We're going to work with that 5th slot and see if there's somebody we can come up with, and we'll get back to you. I think we should. So, besides this team, there are a couple teams that have worked. So, one is the variation we came up with CLS inside a DR squad, and the tricky match with DR with the faster DR shows a situation where Revan is faster than my CLS. Because I have a pre-taunter, he cannot give fear to CLS, and CLS is going to dispel and give buff immunity and add turn meter to my team so that Fallen Bass can get Corrupted Battle Meditation off. I know this is a mouthful, and stop them from inflicting debuffs. So if you roll this is a win, and it's not as easy as it was. If my CLS is faster than their Revan, my CLS is 320, it's not a problem. I wipe them out. But in this case, just putting fear on my leader and putting fear on Sith Troopers.
This one's my video.
Oh, okay, all right. Same concept though.
Yeah, but so I'll show you. I'll roll yours next. But this is I've got a really fast CLS here, and I should be out in front, and you're just gonna see will win this one, but you're gonna see how tight it is, and it just doesn't look super reliable.
Without Malak, it just wasn't like this. It was an easy win regardless, and you never felt like you were going, wow, look at that AoE shock. I love that ability, man. Those are
Yeah,
like
but
40, 50,000 hits.
yeah, but still, like that was a great AoE. Things are going great for me.
But they're still alive, and you're on death's door if they take one more turn. So, I mean, you have to be careful. And you won this battle, but this is the same experience I had. Even when I won with CLS, it was close. And then I played JSO, and his team has modeled up well. Another very smart player, and I couldn't win with CLS. I kept getting smoked.
So are you seeing this? Like Malak just one-shotted two of my guys.
He's. I mean, talk about jumping.
I had
he's
that
an
handled.
amazing tune. I mean, I'm so upset that I don't have him.
Okay, I got your video queued up.
So we were both working on this independently. We hadn't even coordinated. Basically, where we left it with Revan and counters with that CLS really did close the speed gap. If your Revan wasn't as fast as theirs, so and it's the same basic strategy. He's protected by the pre-taunt, and then he gives buff immunity, inflicts debuffs, raises the turn beater, and Bass goes. Now at this point, before Malak, stopping them from inflicting debuffs and fear was enough, and you could take control of the match and win. The problem that we're finding, and in later videos you're going to see, is that Malak hits so hard that the basic issue has changed. It's not just fear. It's that he's going to kill somebody very quickly and probably one-shot them. Now, I won.
Basically got a 4-turn cooldown annihilate, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's nasty, and I'm learning to have a healthy fear of it. I won this battle, but again, it wasn't as easy as other battles that I've had, and I could start feeling that this definitely wasn't the best counter, and that the meta has definitely changed. Meaning, this is serious. It works, and I am scared to find what they do to him next, because they say they're going to improve his kit even more, and I hope it doesn't leave us kind of outside. I did win, and against this team, I don't remember who it was on, but if we load up the next video, which is the loss video, you're going to start seeing the problem. It DR with 320 speed, CLS fails. It's I mean, I think this is really interesting. If I'm going to lose, I want to lose in a way that demonstrates it. And I lost pretty spectacularly here, and then maybe go back to the drawing board and come up with another solution. So I was trying to show some speed stats in case you see the videos online. Check out our YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We're always doing stuff between our shows. There's no commentary on this stuff, but it shows you what we're working on. And if you start seeing them, you're going to be prepared for what we're going to cover, during the week. If you want to join the Wizard and chat with us, there's going to be a link in the description. And here, you're going to see the same thing, that you've gotten used to seeing, except I'm going to get wiped out. So we try to give fear to Revan and reduce his cooldowns and stop him, but you can see I'm already starting to take a lot of heavy damage, and Revan is dead. See how quick that happened? It was just 2 seconds. There's no way to prevent it. You need some sort of other mechanic that is going to help your Sith here, and CLS just does nothing. Look how hard they hit. It's a full Synth Vampire squad. They have the 50% crit damage. So he's obviously modded for high DPS. Marauder adds to the DPS. Oh my gosh. Over a stat. Yeah. I mean, look how badly I lost here. I had no chance. And I tried this, 3 or 4 times to make sure that it wasn't just RNG, and it's not. I
got to go back and see. Like, Darth Revan just disappears.
And this is my experience. Either Revan or Bastila disappears within the first 20 seconds of the battle every single time. Mm. There were ones where Malak just one-shot them. I mean, it was just crazy. Here he got
oh man, it's
death mark. I mean, it's Malak. Look what he did to him. He put him even with death the equalization. He still was he's just ready to die. I mean, it's just it's obviously what they had in mind with Darth Revan.
It's almost like, are we going to need to try and tank up HK-47? Because right there, he went into yellow health almost immediately, and that put Deathmark out. And then even if you survived that Deathmark, he would have gotten Deathmark again right now, because Bastila has less than 50% health.
So yes, as part of that, I didn't do it with HK-47, although I'm probably going to have to. I think part of the solution is definitely going to be, if you're slower, you're going to have to tank up. You can need them to survive the first volleys so you can get control of the match. But the next move from here is I scrapped CLS and I put my Sith Assassin in, who's 319 speed. He has both the G12 plus pieces and allows me to make sure that at least I raise turn meter for the whole team before their Bastila goes, so that I can give them corrupted battle meditation. You know, it's the same thing we're talking about. It's the same themes. And with Sith Assassin, the battle has a different feel. I won, and I won every time I tried. That was only a few times. I'm going to make sure in the future that this is real, but you're going to see it's a completely different battle just by changing this one tune. First of all, we have more DPS.
How hard's the gear on Sith Assassin?
What'd you say?
How hard is it to gear Sith Assassin? I haven't looked at that.
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, their attack
about what you'd expect.
Bad. I happen to have the stuff for the G12 plus pieces, which I wanted to make her as fast as possible. So you see the battle starts the same way, except what happens there. All right, so that's the most important thing. Number one, Sith Assassin raises everybody's turn meter and cloaks. So, she hides and gives us a good start. So she's not just giving 10%, she's giving about 25%. That helps, and it makes sure that everybody goes. And it changes the look of the battle here. Now here.
Oh, yeah, HK.
Yep. That's the key. So that's the first key is she bypasses protection. And if you can so you have taunters. There's 2 taunters out here that are going to be screwing you up. Malak and Sith Trooper. Or in this case, it's just Malak. I know there's Marauder in there. But we want to be able to bypass taunt. Killing Malak is going to help us because then we can't focus on the real problem, which is Revan and Bastila. So the bypassing protection, with all the bonuses to crit chance, Sith Assassin's always going to crit, always going to bypass protection. They're always buffed, and it inflicts death mark on Revan right away. In other battles I've done, I was able to kill Revan because he didn't take a turn and shed death mark so quick. But it does change the feel of what's going on.
I kind of want to ask if Rakim can test out trying against Malak teams with does he has a Sith Marauder, right?
He does. I mean, Jaso does too. Now, here, I know I'm almost dead. I love the fact that we're doing this so I can explain what's going on. Because if I just put this video online, somebody would be like, your Revan was almost dead and this isn't going to work. This is not the only battle I did. This was actually bad RNG. Usually you can kill their Revan once he gets death mark. He just happened to take a turn right away and get rid of it. But in this case, it's still, as long as your guys survive.
This looks like you're going to lose.
It does. And it's where I came with my conclusion, the same one you did about tanking everybody up. This is before I tanked them up. This is modded for DPS. But as long as you can get equal footing, see, Sith Assassin gives turn meter.
Yeah.
He's making you faster. He's creating an advantage. And that's why I believe that Sith Assassin, even though she doesn't hit as hard, is key to this comp if you're going to be playing in mirror matches. Now, Malak is going to do what he does, kill another person. Now, after that battle, it made me realize, because Revan was so close to dying, the next logical step, we have enough DPS, was to go to a defense speed armor kit for Revan to make sure that he's surviving as much as possible. And do the same thing with Bastila, because it's like it's a fight. It's a boxing match. You've got to be able to take a punch and come back. And one of the problems with these comps is they hit so hard. It's so hard to come back. And so we want to make sure we're doing everything to do that. Now, we were playing that entire battle without a mod because we switched it. But, I mean, in that battle, he had this mod here. So this is how I have him modded. And I had a crit damage set on him before, a very fast one. But in place of that, I wanted to do this. And this is what it gives you. Speed, obviously, you want it to be high. The protection could be a little higher. But remember, he's getting 70% max health. So that, brings him over 100,000. But this is the key. They're losing armor with ferocity. If we could start with a high armor base, they're not going to get destroyed so quickly. So I increased his armor a lot, and that's an important part of this. And since then, in the battles I've tried, he's more survivable, if that's a word, and
Yeah, I
it
might try
will allow
that.
you to win these matches. And then if you look at Bastila, it did the same thing. She had a speed set on her, but I wanted to add a little more protection. I had like a defense mod cross on her. So I want to make sure that, you know, she's really stout. She's regaining a lot of protection when she's going. So she's over 130, 140, 150,000 so that we can withstand that blow and move on. But the important thing is we are no longer on even footing with the Darth Malak, Darth Revan competition. There's no more auto. I'm going to have to, you know, play each match. I'm going to have to make sure I'm playing well to win. I do believe I will be able to climb, you know, even after he's 7-star. But this is, I guess, what the devs had in mind originally when they were creating this meta, and they probably just knew they were going to drop this the whole time. And so people without Malak are going to be at a disadvantage. And it's as simple as that.
So basically, we've got a mod so that we survive the first volley and then put our debuffs out there, get our damage out, right?
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, you've got to be prepared. You have to be prepared for your team to be going second and, you know, just survive and then take over. Because in that Sith Assassin video, like you came from way. It looked like you were way behind. Okay, I've got something.
I showed myself losing today.
Yeah, I've got something to show. So this is a team. This Uruwal guy. He's running Darth Revan with Chewbacca, and I tried this team like I think it was 2 weeks ago, using the ZEP and Triumvirate, and Chewie was just devastating to my Nihilus, and you know Nihilus is the keystone to that team, because he gets so tanky, but Chewie has that health based attack. I wanted to just replay this. I can beat it with I have a team comp that I can definitely beat it with, but for people who don't have Darth Revan, I want to show you what this match might look like if you ever come across it. So,
and only a percentage of people have Malak. So there's going to be a lot of people who have Revan without Malak, and the earlier counters are going to work. But it's important to know, you know, what the best have and whether you can beat it and how to adjust accordingly. You know, based on this research that we're doing today, unless we can come up with a better counter that doesn't use Revan, I'm going to have to hold back Revan in mirror matches versus somebody with Malak, which I hate to do, but you know, you got to give yourself a chance to win. And it's the basis of Grand Arena, and it also alters TW strategy.
Okay, so I'm not okay. This health mod is really good. It's not super speed, but I love the 6-dot health primaries, and for Nihilus, it's going to help him get really thick. So Absolutely. He's 205. That's not insane.
If you're not farming 6-dot health primaries, you are at a huge disadvantage versus people who have a bunch of these sets, because there's some interesting things you could do with health and high health pools that work for specific tunes, and one of them is Nihilus.
Yep, I agree. Let me rag this one off. Well, no, I want to show something a little more feasible. Let's see, whatever. That's good. 234. I didn't complete that health set. Scion does really well with health because his all his regeneration is health based. It's not protection. So protection helps you survive initially, but then after that, it's all about health. Let me just.
And Malak's like Scion and Nihilus in one tune. Really, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm starting to fall in love with Malak, and it's sort of breaking my heart that I don't have him. And all you lucky people out there, I'm going to be gunning for you. I'm coming up with a counter because I don't have him, and that's not fair.
Okay, so, Chewie's already going. Well, the nice thing about Malak is because if you want to 7-star him and gear 12 him, I mean, you have to save all that currency, which not too many people have all of that currency saved up. Like, that's pretty rare. I'm not going to isolate Chewie just because I want to show everybody what I can't because of corrupted battle meditation.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
I love the Malak idea. I love the way that they they brought this new way to get a tune into the game that isn't really a legendary. Listen, I
Yeah.
know it takes a lot of high geared tunes to do it, but a lot of us have worked on them anyway. If you're serious about this game, you're gonna get Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan. So it's not really that much more work to get another tune on top of them. You're piggybacking. You're getting 3 tunes for the price of 2, basically. And I think this is great. They stop him from being maxed right away by somebody just paying for it. So they create a sort of a level playing field between people who pay and people don't. And it gives you something to work for over the long term, which I think is always great, in Arena and in this game, because in a few months we're going to have people who are finally 7-starring him, and it's going to be new. It's going to be fresh again. We're going to see what that means. Does it matter? And looking at this, I think it will, because the harder he hits, the harder that team is to play. It's the hardest hitting team that's ever existed in this game. And if you're not scared of it yet, you should be, because it's coming for you.
So this isn't going to show what I had 2 battles against a team with Chewbacca. See, there you go. Just that's a little bit frightening when your loaded nihilist starts getting hit by Chewbacca.
That's how I felt in the other videos with Malak. All of a sudden, he can't regain, and he gets dropped, and we're not used to that. He usually survives everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is not that interesting to show, but hey, for those of you out there,
live play, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't want to just present scripted stuff to you guys. We want to, be as real as we can, and the whole point of this is to bring you behind the curtain to what we're doing every day, for no particular reason except we enjoy it. And I know there's a lot of other people out there who focus on this part of the game, the theory part of the game, and this is for you. This is not just how to beat an event, and I love all the other content out there. I'm not knocking anybody. I watch it all. I find it immensely enjoyable, but there's a niche there of players who just love diving deeper, and we want to try to help build that and hopefully entertain you for an hour or so.
So I'm on cooldown. Kovac's team is my max jump, and he has really good stuff. So why don't we, while I'm on cooldown, I don't think you have anybody that you can hit right now.
I can hit Darth. Let's see what happens. I'll put it in. I'll quit out of the match before I win if he's still there.
Hang on a sec. Let me tab you over.
We'll give this one more shot, and hopefully
it works. Hang on.
I'll pause it for you. He's not there anymore.
Yeah. You got to give me the mouse. Oh, he climbed up to... Oh, he got 2. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can hit him as long as I'm careful. Actually, his payout just ended, so I think we can hit him comfortably. So let's take a shot and see what happens in this battle. This is going back to the earlier premise that CLS won't work, but Sith Assassin makes this possible. Now, we're not able to dispel the Taunter, but the Terminator, the speed, the bypassing protection is an important part of this. Now, my Sith Assassin is faster than anybody on the team. So
yeah, most of us have speed advantage on Darth.
So what you're going to find is that this becomes just a crazy blowout, I think. But let's see. Let's see if Malak helps it and makes it different. But, going fast is obviously a huge advantage, but you can never just count on that. You want to make sure that you're...
Oh, man, critting...
Yep.
Does critting Malak gives you fear, right?
Yep, it does. And that increases your cooldown. But look at that bomb. Whoa. Wow. Just cleared the whole team. So, going first is a cure for many ills. And there's going to be plenty of teams in your shard that you're faster than. So you should still be able to climb no matter what happens. But this video shows very clearly that Malak is a very strong toon who survives tons of damage and is going to live in the meta for a long time. I don't want to screw him up here, so I'm going to quit out of this battle just in case, because I can't look up his payout right now. But that's, it's a place to start. And if you're looking for teams that can win, this is really, what I think you should be focusing on right now. Well, obviously work on some other things, but it's viable, and I think it's going to allow me to keep going.
Yeah, I'm checking out his mods. He's got a 301 Darth Revan.
He's good mods. He just doesn't have
296. Oh, he's got good speed.
that
When
speed.
did he,
Yeah.
when did he get that speed?
We all, it's always a sharp competition for who has the best mods and who could show off the best team, and he must have been working on it.
Yeah, 240. Yeah.
I think he has a lot of solid 15 plus mods, just not a lot of 20 plus.
Yeah, you can kind of tell. Like, I think he might be able to speed up. I think he's doing what I do in that he's debating, like, finding the sweet spot where Revan is going as fast as possible, with Bastila also going very fast and right behind him.
Yeah, because she's a slower tune, and it's a
Yeah, and it
hard
ends up.
balance. That's why Sith Assassin helps so much because
Yeah,
he raises everybody and he kind of fills in that gap. And why I chose him over Marauder, really.
yeah. It's interesting. It's kind of like, I mean, at Darth Revan's release, it was pretty clear that it was a speed meta, and now we're starting to see some things where maybe, adding survivability has some value. Adding your HK-47 there just did so much damage that it stopped the other team. So I think we might still have room to find, like, little niche ways to mod your team if you can't outspeed the other team.
And that's what we're going to have to do.
Yeah.
I have good speed mods and better than most players, but I don't have the best, and it's important for me to be able to beat everybody, to take that slot every day, but also because I can't rest if I can't. It's important for my peace of mind to know that I have the ability to beat people and they cannot lock me out, even if they want. And it's not just that. What about your GA opponent? He might have better speed than you. So if you're not looking at all circumstances, you're not going to be prepared if you take this stuff seriously. HK-47 is modded with a crit damage set with a lot of high offense percentage secondaries for six dot. They triple when they become 6 dot. So he has a really high offense and full crit damage. And with a full Sith Empire team, he's bananas.
I'm gonna go look at yours right now.
Very slow. I only have him 174 because I'm maximizing his damage.
Yeah. Look at that offense secondary.
These are my favorite mods. I love them.
Oh my gosh, that's dirty.
Yeah,
127 with 10 speed.
On an offensive mod, yeah.
119 and almost 4%. That's like almost another primary itself.
This combines to be as much as an offense set and its crit damage set. So it's like, if you have these mods laying around, if you want to spend some time on crit damage mods with offense percentage secondaries, it is worth the investment. If they're 1.5 before you 6 dot them, they're going to be 4.5 after you do. And you could have, 1 or 2 full sets that don't make you choose between offense and crit damage.
I'm tabbing over to me. You have just about 4450 damage on your HK with crit damage to 22%. I've got offense set and this offense triangle, my nice one with 20 speed.
I love that.
And I have less damage than you. 3824 to your 4449. And you've got all that extra crit damage to go with it. So your AoE is hitting harder than mine, which is kind of what I'm testing. And then you're gonna just murder people with his assassination protocol and his basic.
And
that's
to
pretty
anybody
cool.
who said it doesn't matter to have the crit damage because he hits so hard, when you're playing non-Jedi teams, it does matter. Malak has a lot of health and defense, and it's hard to kill him. And the higher that number, the more likely you're going to be able to one-shot the tune that you really do need to kill to bring him down.
Okay, I'm coming off cooldown, so I'll be able to hit Kovac. I'm just going to go through his mods right now.
Cool.
Brutal. 320 on Revan.
Well, it demonstrates what we're trying to demonstrate is that it's hard when a Revan's faster and how you're going to get around it.
294 on Bastila.
There's a small percentage of people who have the best speed mods in their shard. Everybody else has to figure a way around. So this is the more important part of it.
Okay. So I'm going to try this with EP and Triumvirate, right? I want to put really good stuff on Scion. Let's see if this can work, because as I have them modded, I know I won't win. but let me see what happens if I put really good speed on Scion and Nihilus. So let's give him these tasty mods I have on CLS. I'm not using Bastila in this battle. 10's fine. Let's go with this health mod. Okay, 255 on Scion. That's really good for me. And then what are we going to do on Nihilus? Okay, I think I like that one. Do I like that one? No, I like this one better. Okay, and then let's go with the health primary. Yeah, that one looks good. Okay, 230. Is that all I can do? I can do better than that. Oh, here's one I can improve. There we go. Okay, 222. I think that this is back in the realm where he goes quick enough that he doesn't always get stonewalled. So here we go. Let's try it.
Well, and let's see in what not having the. Actually, I don't know if he has the Zeta on Dark Basti. So
we'll see immediately, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, because it makes such a big difference.
Nope.
No, he doesn't. So
I'll get a drain force right here.
I think this might demonstrate that the viability of this counter is going to be directly linked to that Zeta, and there you go. That Zeta becomes hugely important, and I hate that Zeta. I would never want it to do it, but now you're seeing that it does really come into play.
Oh, it's awesome. That always surprises me. Those one hits that Revan does.
His animations are marvelous. They're just so cool and sleek, and it just makes you feel like you're a cooler person just for playing the game.
All right, I'm not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, but you're in much better shape than I was. I mean, no one has. Well, there you go. Somebody has shock, but you're controlling the battle. You need to get the turn meter boost before they can get to this point. But now that everybody has shock,
I'm not going to make it.
You're not going to make it. It's not a counter anymore. That's it. It's over.
Well, okay, let's be fair. This one's really fast. This is a great team. Oh, yeah, this is definitely over. Yeah, there's just Malak brings extra shock, extra fear, and
it's just
they just can't handle it.
Do they need to make him better? There's nothing wrong with him. He's amazing.
I mean, he does a really good job at cutting this counter, which I completely admit this counter is cheese.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I'm glad it doesn't work because it ruins the things that I enjoy the most, which is planning how to stop people in TW. I agree with you completely.
Yeah. So okay. So
now this transitions us well into one more topic that we want to talk about, and that's territory wars. And every time there's an introduction to the meta, territory wars changes, and that's why territory wars is so much fun. So in real time, you can start devising strategies that can help your guild win, keep it fresh, and maybe you could beat a guild you wouldn't have been able to beat before because you have the tools to do so. The more metas there are that have few counters, the more you can put up walls that will really hold, and that allows you to play a different game. There's a debate in this game about just efficiently clearing the battle and winning on points, or really putting out a strong defense and trying to stop your opponent. I could say that probably every person in our guild, Rebel Rogues, all 50 people, lean towards trying to want to stop the other team. So we put out heavy defenses, and we take a lot of joy in stopping them from clearing the map. And in the Jedi Knight Revan era, we put a lot of Revans, in different sections. I'm not going to go into the exact strategy, but kind of the roundabout, so you can understand what we're doing, because we're trying to control what parts of the map they have access to, so that we can win and we can shut them down in the area we want to. When Darth Revan came along, we figured, oh well, here we have 27 of them. We have another 27 characters that we could use to do that same thing, and use them in conjunction with Jedi Knight Revan. And so it allows, more total tunes that can stop the opponent and can make it so that it's not just a full clear on both sides, which I consider boring. And what we found is that Darth Revan does do that. But we spent a lot of time thinking about this ZZEP cheese, and that if somebody reserved enough of these, they could just tear through your Revans. And so the trick up until this point, before Malak, was setting up your defense in a way that siphoned away their ZZEP and Sith triumvirates, putting nests in the way. And at the end of it, a reward is all these Darth Revans that you're not going to be able to get through anymore because you needed your Trey to get through them in the first place. Everybody's been using Trey on offense as a wild card to just take down tough teams. But if you put a lot of Darth Revan on defense, you take that away from them. They can't do that anymore. And so you're starting to control your enemy's actions. And at the end, in the last section, beating 9 Darth Revans is going to be very difficult after you've done all these battles. And in our experience, we've tried this twice. It's worked. No one has cleared us since we've done this. And we've had some heavy guilds that I think clear just about every map they play since then. The introduction of Malak, though, changes it all together. Now we don't have to worry about siphoning off their Sith triumvirate. If this counter doesn't work, then you could put them in strong positions like the nodes in the front or before fleet. And so we're in a position where there's so many great metas that Territory Wars is going to change. It's going to change for every guild who sits down and devises a defense and says, we're not going to let you clear this map. We're going to put enough up here. And we're going to train, and we're going to be good enough so that we can clear the map on you. So, I want to throw that out there. I don't know how many people really cover Territory Wars, but the strategy of it is really fun, and it's something we like to dig into. And every time there's a new change and a new tune, I think it's a great way to approach it.
Yeah, and let me just kind of clarify for some folks who are listening, because a lot of times when Myth talks about Territory Wars and Grand Arena and, the playing the game of balancing the whole inventory against the other guild's inventory, it goes over my head too. But what he was talking about with trading triumvirates was so the Emperor Palpatine counter to Darth Revan, with the popular one that was on a lot of the YouTube channels, used a very fast Darth Vader, and to make it work reliably, you had to put pretty much your best speed mods on Darth Vader, and neither of us thought that anybody was actually going to do that, because that's a big investment to make. Like, most people are going to leave their best speed on Jedi Knight Revan or CLS or somebody like that. Putting it on Vader just seems like kind of a waste. But the EP and Sith Triumvirate counter until Malak now was super effective. And so what we wanted to do was put Traya lead teams with a nest on there, so that what nest would do would discourage people from using CLS as the natural hard counter to Traya. CLS, Han, and Chewie just eat through them. But if you put nest in there, then people think twice. If you see nest, there's a good chance if you bring CLS into it, there's so much turn meter removable that you'll just get stuck on her. Yeah, so long story short, we simply just deployed Traya teams on defense with nest so that it would discourage the CLS hard counter and force people into doing a mirror match, which then reduced the number of triumvirates available to do the Emperor Palpatine triumvirate counter to Revan, to give our Revans a better chance of holding on defense. So yeah, that's what we were talking about with Territory Wars in this last go around.
It didn't occur to me that I might be going a little too fast, and I love this stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So a lot of times when you're discussing the map strategy with me, I sort of like bob my head like, yeah. Let me think about that.
I love talking about it with you and bouncing it off. Plus, I don't want it all to be on my head,
Yeah, no, it's good. It's a different strategy though. It's like overall management of 50 inventories.
Yeah, I mean, if you love puzzles and stuff like that, I do. It's an opportunity to do more than just micromanage what battles people are doing and how many points they get, but to put a bigger picture out there. The first time we tried this, it worked. There was a guild that was sandbagging and probably 10 million GP more than us, and we ended up losing. It was close, but we didn't get cleared. And if we had spread our Darth Revan around the map, we probably would have won that. And that's the strategy we took the next time. And we stopped another guild that probably usually clears because they left a lot for offense. and they didn't. They couldn't. We made it too hard for them and made it frustrating for them. And we enjoyed a pretty easy victory, considering. So it's something that I think is the future of this. And the more Metatoons they release, the bigger the pool of them that have few counters, the more the landscape of TW is going to change from just an efficiency battle to creating structures that prevent people from entering areas and allow you to win, from a bigger picture.
So, big picture for this week. What do you have going on? What are you working on?
So I just finished Spirit, and I'm excited about that. I find that being able to take Nest away from the Night Sisters and add Spirit in there is a super upgrade and just makes you more lethal. So I'm focusing on putting together as many quality GA factions as I can. We could go over to my GA for a second. I'll show quick and
hang on. I got to tab over to you.
Okay. And
there we go.
My goal is to have no fluff in my defense. Now I'm approaching 4 million really quickly, and it's going to put a little bit of a damper on my plans because I'm going to have to put out a couple more lineups, to be able to do this. But it's been my focus because I consider this a microcosm of what we're doing in the guild. I'm trying to find a good strategy that works on this small level and then amplify it. So I want us to create a spirit wall and be able to save the nest for other things and kind of get rid of all the fluff like bounty hunters or Ewoks so that we're making them go through, a tough wall every time. So I'm putting out a deliberately weak Jedi Knight Revan team because you still need something significant to beat it. And then I'm, trying to make a second Jedi team here. I'm going to Zeta Jolie this week. I've been kind of trying not to do that Zeta because I hate that 4-minute battle thing, and I just didn't want to contribute to it. But it's going to help solidify this lineup so that I could take Kenobi out and use him with Wampa. And if you go down here, there's no fluff here. They're going to win.
No, those are all difficult.
Yeah, if they're going to win, they're going to earn it. And
those are all really challenging teams.
I don't know about you, but I'm not perfect. And if I make an error, at least I have some cushion. I could still win. I won my last GA, the overall championship of the round, without clearing the entire map because my opponent had a harder time with me. Neither of us cleared. But it allows you to – it's the same thing that we were just talking about in TW is that it doesn't always have to be about efficiency. Sometimes it can be about stopping your opponents, and you have to be able to clear them on the other side, sure. But so that's basically what I've been working on. I'm going to be I have to get my lineup together for Malak now. I want to get that done quick. I'm close. I just need to do Mission and Jolie. So I'm going to be working on them, giving them 2 Zetas, gearing them, and then whenever it comes back again, at least I'll be able to get them. What are you working on?
Well, I just got that Malak guy unlocked, so I'm still getting the gear 11 to gear 12 gear for Darth Revan, so I'm just gonna be saving and hoarding for Revan and Malak's gear, unfortunately, which is boring. I will take a look at the gear charts and start throwing stuff on Spirit because I do need to. My Night Sister team is pretty weak. I've got Saj gear 12, but the rest are gear 11, and I could really use them geared up. They're not the most reliable team for me, and they're really important. So yeah, I'll just be, using my crystals from Arena to pull some more gear. I know Malak has a bunch of those paywall pieces, and then I'll be in the same boat with pretty much everybody and trying to counter these superior Malak teams because I don't have them ready to go. My Darth Revan is undergeared compared to the Shard, so despite me having him, I still consider myself a counter player in Arena.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I was talking to Veer, and he's saying the same thing because speed still matters here, and he has Malak, but he hasn't figured out how to leverage him before going second, so he hasn't put him in yet. Yep. He's been using the CLS counter, DR with CLS, and that's successful for him. So, there's a lot more to explore, and let's say this is a great time in the game. There's a lot of interesting things going on. They're adding more PvP modes, which we like. So, it was a good time for you and I to start doing this, and I'm enjoying it, bud. And it's gonna, hopefully more people will jump on this theory train, and we'll take it to the station.
Right. So we should have another chat this week, maybe sooner rather than later, and go over the current territory wars buffs. The too many Han. I know that you threw a bunch of teams at all those too many Hans teams that were deployed on defense, and you found some cool sneaky stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna, and I think we're gonna make a segment about that. Just a quicker version of this, maybe not a full episode, but yeah. And again, it's something new, so it's fun to find counters. And a lot of the old faces worked. ZZ Thrawn, people forget about that. Incredibly powerful. It works against the right team. First Order worked. I got to go through the videos, but I think I counted it 4 times on their front wall and laid it down. It didn't work for everybody. But these teams that I'm very familiar with and know their mechanics, you can really get past a lot of these lineups if the battle are close by understanding them and kind of playing into their strengths.
Well, that's all the time we have today for episode 3 of the Robot Wizard podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you've enjoyed this content. Feel free to comment on the video and join our Discord server. You can participate in all the theory crafting fun that we have going on over there, leverage some of the cool minds, and we look forward to catching up with you guys later.
Take it easy, everybody. We'll see you next week.